like today's gonna be a special day. So I know I said it was, whoa, what was that? I know I said I was gonna commit to once a week. And if you've been paying attention, well, I didn't post last week. I'm trying to approach these vlogs like they're basically my first vlogs ever. That way I don't stress myself out and create too many friction points. I'm trying to just leave the ISO on auto and do all these things to just make me basically film again. Earlier when I woke up, I said today's gonna kind of be special. Well, I am gonna push myself to vlog. I'm actually going out to do something, which normally doesn't happen. I generally get weekdays off, and my wife, God, I can't talk this morning. Take two. My wife works during the week, therefore we don't really do much. Well, today there's a food pop-up, so I'm gonna actually push myself to vlog. I have a little bit of chores to do. I got some coffee brewing, as you saw earlier. And then I'm gonna try to go figure this Star Adventure out tonight. Now, I'm not going anywhere special because it's important when you get new gear to kind of figure that out before you actually take the trek somewhere. Last thing I wanna do is drive 2 hours to Joshua Tree and then find out that I forgot something or left batteries or don't know how to set it up. So we're gonna try to basically stumble through the settings on that guy today and figure that out. But first, I need coffee. This food pop-up is at a, wow, that's a little tight. That's a little too intimate. This food pop-up is at a plant shop in Costa Mesa called Mellowist, I believe. And I don't even know the name of the food pop-up place because my wife, Linda, found it, but I'm excited to eat some new food, especially because I drink coffee on an empty stomach, so I have a shit ton of energy and I need to just like soak that up.
Which just means special. It's the porkless ham. Spicy bacon and egg.
Do you want to just stand here and eat it?
Sure. Dang, that looks so good.
That was bomb. Trying to push myself a little bit more outside of my comfort zone by, going out a little bit more, because this is one of the reasons why I stopped vlogging, was I don't really go out and do much on my days off. So trying to find these little opportunities where I can go out and shoot a little bit more, push myself outside of my comfort zone, vlog a little bit more, get comfortable behind the camera, get the creative juices flowing. So food's done, was bomb, and then I think we're gonna go grab some coffee. Now that we've got that out of the way, I'm packing up everything to get ready to go use the Star Tracker. So we have the actual Star Tracker itself, the Star Adventure Pro, and then we have the mount, of course, and I'm bringing the A7 III. I'm not really going to be shooting, astro photos. This is just more or less for me to get used to polar alignment, which is, aligning the Star Tracker with the North Star, which we'll get into when we actually get to the location. And then I think I'm just going to bring the Zeiss 18mm, so that way I can film on the 16-35. The one thing I will say about the Star Tracker is I've noticed this dial is super easy to turn. In fact, if I had an extra hand, I'd show you how easy it is to turn. So the battery pack is here on top. And what I think I'm going to do for the foreseeable future is I'm going to leave the batteries out of this, because I have a feeling as easy as this thing is to get turned. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. It does click into place, but it's really loose. So I think what I'm going to do is just leave the batteries out so that way it doesn't drain the battery. I think the instructions say you get like 17 hours of battery life. Don't quote me on that. It's basically 4 AA's that sit in this battery pack. But you also have the ability to use a USB power bank. So I mean, which I have on me. So I don't think I'll ever be doing 17 hours of battery, but it's nice to know that, you know, I can power it via USB. Micro USB. It's gonna bring the A7S III, the A7 III to shoot photos. The Star Tracker, of course, my really good tripod, and let's figure this shit out. Normally, I hope you can even hear me because I forgot my wind jammer and it's kind of windy. You know, normally I would be ecstatic at the amount of clouds that are out in the sky, but you know, just my luck when I come out here to star align, there's clouds, it's already increasingly difficult to see the stars in the city, but now with clouds it's going to be almost impossible. It's funny because, check this out, I text Cody because, you know, just my luck that this would happen. It's funny that I'm even complaining that there's clouds, because generally I'm super ecstatic, but of course he basically just tells me to, you know, adapt, overcome, and thrive, and maybe even just move the vlog into a different direction. But you know what, I set out with a goal, and the goal was to star align. The goal was to use the Star Tracker, and I'm gonna do that. I am probably gonna set up a time lapse, because as you can tell, the sky looks fucking amazing. I may not even do any polar alignment, or maybe just polar alignment and not take any photos, and just take a time lapse because it fucking looks amazing. We're in that weird time of day where like the ND filter's too dark, but not having one on is not, so I've kind of got the shutter cranked. Hopefully it helps. So we'll talk a little bit about polar alignment while I have my time lapse going off. So you know, if you're watching this and you're like a seasoned Star Tracker, like, don't trash me in the fucking comments. Like, yes, I'm new. I've shot astrophotography for like 4 years, and now I'm starting to step my game up. So, you know, bear with me. Weird thing is, I used the app that comes with this to basically know my latitude, and it's no longer working. But thankfully, the compass app on the iPhone works pretty well. But essentially, what I'll do is I'll find my latitude here, and then I'll adjust this, which kind of, you know, is the general direction of my elevation, rather. I'm trying not to use any technology whatsoever and just be able to see it with my eye. So that way, when I don't do this at dusk, it's a little easier to polar align at night because I know where the Big Dipper is and I can actually find the North Star. I would say this was the hardest thing, the biggest pain in the ass for me to actually dial in for polar alignment. It's very difficult to see, I'm sure, but there is a 0 on this knob, this dial, the inner dial. There's also a notch on the actual polar scope, and then October 31st here between 10 and 11 has to be aligned with the 0 on top, so that way the reticle inside here is basically 12 and 6. You also have to make sure that the tripod is level, otherwise when you go to do your polar alignment, it's not going to, the North Star is basically not going to go perfectly vertical. It's going to go kind of canted, and obviously you don't want that, especially if this thing's supposed to be rotating around the North Star. For the time being, I'm gonna use the Star Walk app, I think it is, to help me find the North Star until I can train my eye to know where the Big Dipper is and actually see it. If anybody in the comments, or if anybody's watching this in the comments, knows and uses the Star Adventurer app and knows why the hell my latitude adjustment is no longer, like, it can't find my location basically, that would be very helpful. I'm glad that the Apple Compass app worked, but it would still nice to be used to use that app, because that also has the polar alignment utility, I think it's called, that helps me see the polar, you know, where it's supposed to be basically in the reticle. I've uninstalled, I've reinstalled, I've checked privacy settings, none of that stuff seems to work. I can't get it to work, but nonetheless, that's why we're out here now. That's why we're not going to waste, you know, a 3-hour drive to Joshua Tree to try to shoot astro and then figure out that, you know, I can't shoot. I can still stack photos regularly, but, you know, I would really love to use the Star Adventurer. Yeah, I have about an hour until, you know, dusk, until I should hopefully be able to see some stars. Who knows with these clouds. I think today was very productive. I got some chores done. I did a little shooting. It was really nice to be behind the camera and like think about shooting again, because I haven't done that in a really long time. So that's been kind of nice. I'm gonna sit back on this rock, enjoy the view for a little while, and then I'll check back in with you guys and we'll see if we can actually polar align this bitch tonight. So let's tighten this up a little bit here. There we go. Just as I predicted, it's overcast now, so you can't see any of the stars. Therefore, I can't really polar align. I've done it from my porch a couple times, but it's different out in the field, setting it up and turning it on and actually taking photos with it. But the good news is I have like 30 days before I go to Joshua Tree, so I have more than enough time to do this again. But nonetheless, I was really reflecting like how well Cody pushes me when, you know, I'm like, I have self-doubt all the time still, and self-confidence, and like I haven't been doing this for a really long time, so that muscle hasn't been worked. Cody, thank you if you're watching this. You should be, because you should be supporting me. I really, really appreciate you constantly pushing me, and I know I always say iron sharpens iron, but thank you so much for constantly pushing me. I'm really excited to be behind the camera again and thinking about shots and setting it up, and I'm getting that urge to go shoot again, and I haven't felt this good in a really long time. So thank you, Cody. Appreciate it, and I will see you guys next week.